You're standing on the first tee, brand new shoes, laced up tight, and you have no idea they just cost you 15 yards before you even took the club back. I didn't either. For years, I blamed my age. I blamed my back. I blamed a swing that got slower every birthday. Turns out it was my shoes. They quietly stole distance from nearly every drive I hit, and I finally measured it. Same swing, same driver, same range session. The wrong shoes cost me almost 9 miles an hour of ball speed. And I'm not talking about some tour pro cranking 120. I'm talking about the swing you and I have right now, the one that got softer with the years. There's a ground force study buried in a biomechanics lab that explains exactly why this happens, and the fix costs almost nothing and takes one afternoon. Before we're done, I'll name the 5 shoes robbing senior golfers blind and the single change that hands the yards back. Let me take you back to the range session that broke my heart, because that's where this whole thing started. It was a Tuesday morning, cool, no wind, perfect conditions to actually trust the numbers. I just bought a pair of those soft sneaker-style golf shoes everybody was raving about. Light as a feather, felt like slippers. I hit 30 balls, and my carry number sat about 12 yards shorter than it had all spring. I thought I was tired. So I went home, dug out my old firm-soled pair, came back the next morning, same conditions, and the yards came right back. 12 yards, same body, same swing, different shoes. That's the day I stopped believing that golf shoes are just about keeping your feet dry and started measuring everything from the ground up. Here's the first confession, and it's the one that stings the most because I fell for it hardest. The lightweight, ultra-soft, spikeless sneaker shoe, every ad tells you it's the future. Wear them to the course, wear them to lunch, wear them all day. Your feet will thank you, and but your swing won't, because here's what nobody selling those shoes will tell you. A golf swing is not a walk in the park. When you swing, your body sends force down into the ground, and the ground pushes back up into you. That push is where a huge chunk of your club head speed comes from. Biomechanics researchers call it ground reaction force. And to use it, your feet need a stable, firm platform to press against. A soft foam midsole that squishes under pressure eats that force alive. It's like trying to jump off a mattress instead of a hardwood floor. Now, here's the number that got my attention. Researchers studying long drivers and skilled golfers found that the best of them generate vertical ground force reaching around 1.5 to 2 times their own body weight during the downswing. 2 times your body weight pressing down through your feet in a fraction of a second. If you weigh 200 pounds, that's up to 400 pounds of force going through your shoes right at impact. Now, ask yourself, what happens to 400 pounds of force when it hits a soft, spongy, marshmallow midsole? It disappears. It gets absorbed by the foam instead of firing back up into your swing. That soft shoe that feels so good walking down the fairway is quietly swallowing the very energy you're trying to send into the ball, and it gets worse for us specifically. A slower swing already produces less ball speed. We have less to spare than the young guys. So when a soft shoe steals a few miles an hour, it hurts us more, not less. The fix here is simple, and it costs you nothing extra. When you shop for golf shoes, press your thumb hard into the middle of the sole in the store. If it caves in like a couch cushion, walk away. You want a sole that feels firm, almost stubborn, under pressure. Firm ground, firm shoe, firm platform. That's free speed you're leaving on the rack. But the soft midsole is only the first thief in this story, because the second one hides in shoes you already trust and have worn for years. Let me tell you about the old broken down pair sitting in your garage right now. The comfortable ones. The ones you've had for 4 or 5, maybe 6 seasons because they're finally broken in just right. I had a pair like that. Loved them like an old dog, and they were robbing me every single round. Here's the problem nobody thinks about. Golf shoe midsoles are made of foam, and foam does not last forever. Every step, every swing, every hot day in the trunk of your car compresses that foam a little more. The people who make running shoes will tell you the midsole loses much of its energy return after roughly 300 to 500 miles of use. Now think about how many miles you walk over 5 years of golf. A single 18-hole round is around 4 to 5 miles of walking. Play once a week and you're stacking 200 plus miles a season right through your shoes. By year 3, that comfortable old pair has a midsole that's dead, flat, packed down like an old pillow, and a dead midsole does two ugly things to your swing. First, it collapses unevenly, usually toward the outside edge, which quietly tilts your stance and throws off your balance without you ever noticing. Second, it stops giving you any pushback at all, so you're right back to jumping off a mattress. I measured my old favorites against a fresh pair of the same exact model, same brand, same size, same style, just new versus worn. The new pair gave me back about 6 yards of carry and, more importantly, tightened my dispersion so my misses weren't leaking as far right. 6 yards and a straighter ball just from foam that hadn't died yet. Here's how you catch this one at home, and it's dead simple. Set your golf shoes on a flat kitchen counter and look at them from behind at eye level. If either shoe leans inward or outward instead of sitting straight up, the midsole is compressed and the shoe is done. Also look at the outsole traction. If the little nubs or spikes are worn smooth on the heel and the ball of the foot, you've lost your grip on the ground, and grip is the other half of ground force. You cannot press into something you're slipping on. Most senior golfers I know keep golf shoes twice as long as they should because the uppers still look fine. But the upper isn't what swings the club. The platform underneath is. Replace them every 2 to 3 seasons if you play regularly, and treat it as buying yards, not buying leather. Therefore, if a dead midsole steals your balance and your push, you'd think the answer is simply buying the newest, most cushioned, most technology-packed pair on the wall. That's exactly what I did next. And that mistake cost me more than either of the first two because I bought the most expensive shoe in the shop, and it made me worse. This is the confession about chasing the premium sneaker crossover, the shoes that cost as much as a good wedge and promise you the comfort of a running shoe with the looks of a trainer. I paid nearly $200 for a pair, athletic styled, thick soled, marketed with words like energy and boost and responsive. I figured more money meant more distance. Here's what actually happened. Those thick, tall, cushioned soles do something sneaky. They raise you up off the ground. The distance between your foot and the earth is called stack height, and running shoes have been climbing higher and higher for years because tall cushioning feels plush when you walk. But golf is not running. In golf, the higher you sit off the ground, the more unstable your base becomes. The same way a tall stool tips easier than a short one. When your foot sits high on a soft tower of foam, your ankle has to work overtime just to keep you from rolling side to side during the swing. And here's the cruel part. Your body is smart. When it senses an unstable base, it automatically holds back. It will not let you fully unload your speed into a platform it doesn't trust because it's protecting you from falling. So you swing, you feel like you're going after it, and the ball just doesn't go anywhere. I lost distance in the very shoes I paid the most for, and I couldn't figure out why for a full season. It wasn't the price. It was the height and the softness working together against my slower, balance-dependent senior swing. The engineering truth here goes back decades. The old-school golf shoe, the flat leather one your father wore, sat you low and firm to the ground for exactly this reason. Designers knew that a low center of gravity and a stable base let you rotate hard without tipping. Somewhere in the last 15 years, the industry chased comfort and street style, and stack heights crept up because that's what sells sneakers. They sold us running shoe comfort and quietly took our stability in the trade. For a young athlete with quick balance, it barely matters. For us, whose balance is the first thing to go with age, it matters enormously. The fix is to look for a shoe that sits you low and wide, a broad, flat base, close to the ground. Skip the tall, plush, marshmallow tower no matter how good it feels in the parking lot. Now, here's where I turn directly to you because I know exactly what you're thinking. You just bought shoes last year. Maybe you've got 2 or 3 pairs in the closet and you are not about to run out and replace all of them because a fellow with a microphone told you to. Good. You shouldn't have to. So Let me give you the fixes you can make this weekend with the shoes already on your feet for little or no money. Because reversing this mistake does not require a new purchase. Start with the insole, because this is the cheapest speed you will ever buy. Pull out the flimsy, thin, squishy factory insole that came in your golf shoes. Most of them are garbage. A thin sheet of soft foam that adds nothing but sponginess. Replace it with a firm, supportive aftermarket insole with a real arch and a stable heel cup. A good one runs about $30 to $50. That firm insole does two things at once. It stops your foot from sliding around inside the shoe during rotation, and it gives your arch something solid to press against when you load into your trail side. I did this in my old shoes and picked up ball speed the same afternoon because suddenly my foot wasn't collapsing inside the shoe every time I pushed off. $30, same shoes, real yards. Next, fix your lacing, and yes, this actually matters. Most of us lace our golf shoes the same loose, comfortable way we lace our sneakers, but a loose shoe lets your foot slide, and a sliding foot leaks power. Lace them snug through the middle and use that top eyelet most people ignore, the extra hole near the ankle. Loop your lace through it to lock your heel down. When your heel is locked, your foot becomes part of the platform instead of floating on top of it. It's free, it takes 10 seconds, and it turns a sloppy shoe into a stable one. Then check your traction and clean it. If you wear spiked shoes, those soft plastic cleats wear out and most golfers never replace them. A fresh set of replacement spikes cost around $10 to $15 and screws in with a little tool. Fresh spikes mean you grip the turf and don't slip during your weight shift, which means the ground force actually transfers instead of leaking out through a slipping foot. And if you play spikeless, scrub the mud and grass out of those tread patterns after every round because packed-in dirt turns a gripping sole into a smooth one. These three fixes together, a firm insole, a locked heel, and fresh grip, can recover most of what a mediocre shoe is costing you without spending $200. And if you want every one of these details laid out in one place, every shoe spec I tested, every insole recommendation, and the exact ground force drill written out step by step so you can follow it on the range, I put it all into my ebook series, Drive More, Drive Deeper, and Drive Longer. It's the complete breakdown for senior golfers who are done losing yards quietly and want to understand exactly what's happening from the ground up. You'll find the link in the description below. Now, back to that fourth thief, and this one hides in a mistake almost every senior golfer makes when they buy, because it feels like the safe, comfortable choice. Here's the confession about buying shoes a half size too big. As we get older, our feet swell, especially on a hot day walking 18. So a lot of us size up for comfort. I did it for years. I figured a little extra room never hurt anybody. But in a golf shoe, that extra room is a disaster for distance. When your shoe is even a half size too large, your foot slides inside it during the swing, and every millimeter your foot slides is force that never makes it to the ground. Think about it. You rotate hard into your trail foot on the backswing, but if your foot is skating around inside a roomy shoe, that energy gets lost in the sliding instead of loading into the ground for the pushback. It's a leak, and it's an invisible one because it feels comfortable the whole time. I tested this the boring, careful way. I hit balls in my true size, snug and locked, then hit the same balls in a pair a half size up. The larger pair cost me around 4 to 5 yards a carry and scattered my dispersion noticeably wider because my base was never truly planted. 4 yards from air inside a shoe. The engineering reason is the same story we keep coming back to. Golf is a rotational sport played on a fixed base. Anything that lets your foot move independently of the ground breaks the connection between your body and the earth. The fix is to buy golf shoes that fit snug, not loose, with your heel locked and no sliding when you twist your foot. Try them on and make a slow practice turn right there in the store. If your foot shifts inside the shoe, go down a half size. Buy the shoe for the swing, not for the stroll. And if your feet genuinely swell during a round, the answer is not a bigger shoe. It's a shoe with a slightly wider fit in your correct length, or a model with a more accommodating toe box so you get width where you need it without the length that lets your heel float. Width helps stability. Extra length just helps you slide. I wasted years and yards on that difference. Therefore, once you've locked your foot to a firm, low, well-fitting platform, you're finally ready for the biggest secret of all, the one that ties every single mistake together and explains why the shoe matters more for our slowing swings than for anyone else's. This is the one that changed how I play, and almost nobody talks about it. Here's the finale, and I want you to really sit with this, because when I found it buried in the biomechanics research, it reframed everything. There's a body of work led by sports scientists studying how golfers use the ground, and the standout finding is this: the longest, most efficient hitters don't just push down into the ground. They push down and then explosively drive upward, pressing against the earth with that force of 1.5 to 2 times their body weight, and they do it in a very specific sequence. Front foot leading right before impact. That vertical thrust, that push off the ground, is one of the single biggest sources of clubhead speed that has nothing to do with how strong or how young you are. It's timing and it's leverage. And here's the part that matters for you and me. You cannot produce that upward thrust if the surface under your feet collapses, tilts, or slides. Every shoe mistake we've talked about, the soft midsole, the dead foam, the tall stack, the loose fit sabotages the exact moment your body tries to press off the ground for speed. That's the secret. The shoe's not a comfort item. It's a launch pad. And for a senior golfer, it's the cheapest speed source left in the entire bag. Think about what we're told to do to gain distance. Buy a $500 driver, get fitted for a lighter shaft, change balls. All of it helps a little, and all of it costs a fortune. But the ground force study says a huge slice of speed is available to anyone who simply gives their body a firm, stable, low platform to push against. And here is how you unlock it this weekend for free. Go to the range, set up to a driver, and on your very next swing, I want you to feel like you're pushing the ground away with your lead foot right as you start down, driving up through your front leg like you're trying to stand up tall out of the shot. Not jumping off the ground, just pressing hard into it and up. In a firm, snug, low shoe, that press turns into speed. In a soft, tall, sloppy shoe, it turns into nothing because the foam eats it. I did exactly that drill after reading the research in a firm pair of shoes with a fresh insole and a locked heel, and I gained back the better part of the ball speed I thought age had stolen forever. Not 9 miles an hour all at once, but a real, repeatable, measurable chunk of it. The distance I'd been mourning for years wasn't gone. It was trapped, absorbed by the wrong shoes, and never given the platform to escape. When I gave my body something solid to press against and learned to actually use it, the yards came home. The marketing had me chasing comfort and buried the one thing that mattered, the connection between my feet and the ground. Firm platform, locked foot, push and drive up. That's the whole secret, and it doesn't cost you $1 to try. So let me leave you with this. The distance you think your age took from you may just be sitting under your feet, swallowed by soft foam and a shoe that's too big and too tall. And that means you can get some of it back this weekend without spending a fortune on the next miracle driver. You are not a golfer in decline. You're a golfer who's been standing on the wrong platform, and now you know how to fix it. That's the difference between a man who keeps paying for the same mistake and a man who refuses to lose yards quietly. Now I want to hear from you. So tell me in the comments which of these 5 you've been guilty of. Was it the soft sneaker shoe you wear everywhere, the old broken down pair you can't part with, the expensive tall cushioned ones, the half size too big, or were you sliding around in loose laces all along? Pick your mistake and type it below. I read every one and I answer the honest ones. And if you want the full breakdown, every shoe spec, every insole I tested, and the exact ground force drill written out step by step, my ebook lays it all out so you can walk into the shop knowing more than the kid trying to sell you $200 sneakers. If you're the kind of golfer who's done overpaying and done handing yards away without a fight, this is your crowd. This channel is a group of senior players who refuse to be sold and refuse to shrink. Stick with me. Because the next confession is a big one. The golf ball I played for a decade that was engineered for a swing speed I lost years ago, and the $2 ball that outdrove it in my own testing. You will not want to be caught playing the wrong one. Lace them up, press into the ground, and go take your yards back. I'm the guy who just measured all this, your host at the Senior Fairway Club. This video gave you the overview, but inside I pick up right where we stopped, going shoe by shoe with the ground force numbers. And inside you can ask me your own question, and I answer you myself. No bots. You'll belong among senior golfers just like you. Just point your phone's camera at the code on your screen. Cancel anytime, one click, no risk. If this helped you today, why not subscribe and stick around? I've got plenty more here to help you play better and enjoy your golf. There's always more waiting for you right here